Binge or Purge? Binge or Purge? Binge or Purge?
Hello and welcome to Binge or Purge streaming reviews. I am your host, Dimo. My co-host, as always, is Joe Taylor. This is episode 30.
Episode 30. What were you doing when you were 30?
Not this.
No.
I think for my 30th birthday, I went to Six Flags Magic Mountain.
Okay. Well, that sounds fun.
The real adult thing to do.
Sure.
Go to an amusement park.
Hey, forever young, man.
Yep.
What's going on?
Not much. Before we get started on the reviews, I just wanted to mention we were discussing whether or not we were going to review Apple TV Plus shows. Mm-hmm. I have access to the shows now. Magically.
Okay.
I won't say how, but I do. And I think we should review them. Because they've all been picked up for a second season. Because Apple has nothing else, right? So they just gave green lights across the board.
Yeah, there's like 4 shows that are out now.
And they've already been greenlit for a second season.
Okay.
So...
Well, I have access to it as well. I pay the $4.99 because I'm not a federal criminal pirate.
Did I say I was a criminal pirate? No, I didn't mention any of that.
I said that.
I didn't say that at all. In fact, I'm only alluding to the fact that I'm using your account.
Oh, that's fine.
That's
okay.
what I'm saying.
All
we
right.
have access to it now because you're paying for it.
Sure.
So thank you.
Sure. I'm watching them too, so I'm looking forward to discussing them in the near future.
Yeah, I haven't started any of them, but since we have it now, we will move forward. Now, I think none of our listeners will probably be watching them. Do we know anybody yet?
Yes.
Let us know if you're actually going to watch any of these Apple shows.
To be fair, I sent an episode to someone and I said, you would love this particular show. And she wrote back and said, I've already watched all 3. And this was Saturday afternoon.
Oh, so people are watching.
I think so.
Okay, cool.
I mean, one person out of our, 25 listeners.
Hey, that's a start.
It's 4%, approximately.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, let's get into it. What do you got? You're up first.
Okay, this one's going to be quick because it's only a 21-minute documentary. I teased it last week. We almost decided not to even do it this week, but I said I would. So
you're a man of your word.
I am. That's all I have is my integrity, and even that, barely. Ghosts of Sugarland. This is a documentary on Netflix about a group of young Muslim men who live in suburban Texas. Okay, kind of interesting already, right? Mm-hmm. They have an African-American friend who, because he hangs out with them so much, converts to Islam. Then he starts to ask a lot of questions about the religion, starts to get very devout, I guess, moves to Turkey to sneak into Syria to join ISIS.
From Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
The whole thing is interviews with this group of Muslim young men. And the thing is, all the interviews, they're wearing these like children's, like an Iron Man mask or a Spider-Man mask. So they're in like children's Halloween costume masks.
Oh, their identity is concealed.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 20 minutes of interviews of people telling you the story I just told you in a minute with kids' masks on.
So what is that? Is that a binge or a purge?
Look, this would be a great Vice quick hit or something.
Uh-huh.
21 minutes. I mean, I guess that's pretty short. They could have done it in 7.5, like on Inside Edition or something. It's a purge.
Okay.
I mean, the case, the guy's been extradited. He's on trial now, I think, for aiding and abetting terrorism or something like that. So it's just kind of like a news story that somebody got a really cool camera, and wanted to interview people to tell the mildly interesting story. So skip it. It's purge.
Even at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear you. If it said it works better as like a news story than a short documentary. Okay.
More sizzled than steak.
Gotcha. Keep going. Give me something else.
About that?
No, your next review.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Now here's one that people I think have been waiting for. Season 2 of Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, Amazon Prime original. They started advertising the first season of this in like 2011. I feel like we saw ads for it for well over a year before the first season came out.
Amazon definitely puts a lot of their marketing money behind this.
It's one of the only shows that this and Maisel. Can you name another Amazon Prime show quickly?
The Boys.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, but you searched that. That's in your popular search terms.
You know, but I will. Yeah, all right, smartass. But I did see. I only found out about The Boys because I did see a billboard for it.
A billboard in Hollywood.
A billboard in Hollywood. Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they put a lot of marketing behind this, and everyone knows Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my dad's read every Tom Clancy book. I've read a couple.
The
They're
Hunt
good.
for Red October is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Right. So you go back to like when we were young, which was a long time ago. You had Hunt for Red October,
Patriot
Games, and Clear and Present
Danger.
The last of those three was probably my favorite out of the three, but they're all good.
As a huge Harrison Ford fan, huge.
Yeah.
I can't believe that my favorite one is the Alec Baldwin, Sean Connery one. But the very first one, The Hunt for Red October, that's one of those movies. If it's on, I'm watching. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I fucking love that movie, man.
It's good. Now, what about the one where Ben Affleck played Jack
The Sum
Ryan?
of All Fears.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Purge on that, by the way.
I mean, wasn't that like a nuclear bomb goes off or something?
In the subway system in Seattle or something where I'm pretty sure there is no subway system.
It was Baltimore.
Whatever. It was.
They said Ben Affleck is playing, Jack Ryan. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
But now you're telling me what's his face is playing Jack Ryan, and I should be in.
John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Who I've seen every episode of The Office at least twice. I put it on in the background a lot of times when I'm working. It's a little jarring at first to buy him as an action hero, but he was also in Zero Dark 30, right?
Wrong. John Krasinski was not in Zero Dark 30.
Season 1 was awesome. I really, really liked it a lot. Season 2, if you liked Season 1, you got to watch Season 2. It's a binge.
Okay.
It's a really well done show. I can't imagine how much they spent on this thing. It had to have been $10 million an episode or more. It's very good. The supporting cast, Wendell Pierce, who plays James Greer. That was the James Earl Jones character.
Admiral Greer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Noomi Rapace.
It's Noomi Rapace.
She plays Harriet Bauman, who's like a spy, and there's all kinds of stuff going on in there. Now, I had a couple issues with it. The dialogue at times is a little bit clunky. Mm-hmm. When you're listening to these like Navy SEALs talk to each other, you're like, I can't imagine that that's how they talk to each other. Also, a couple of weird decisions that are there just for plot. Now, the plot of this thing is 90% of the series. The story, the character development, way in the backseat. So it's way more plot than characters. Now, that show, The Boys, that you liked so much, had a lot of plot, but it also had character development.
Oh, yeah.
Much like The Sopranos or some of these other shows where the characters change over the course of the series. Even over the course of an episode, the characters grow and make bad decisions and do different things. This was very two-dimensional. The characters were just there to act out the beats of the script. I didn't really develop an attachment to any of them.
Are these based on Tom Clancy novels, or are these like original ideas with the Jack Ryan character?
Tom Clancy has writing credit for the characters, but there's...
The storylines are original then?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 12 different writers. There's...
Okay.
I mean, over 2 seasons.
Right.
There's 7 different directors. I mean, this thing's like 818, but I got to say it's a little bit better.
A little better? With a budget?
Yeah, right. They spent about 2 million times what we did.
And how many episodes a season?
8 episodes per season.
About an hour each?
Hour each.
Okay.
And it's good. It's fun. It's not real deep.
That's fine. It's a fun ride.
Yeah.
Everybody that I know watches it, loves it.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, everybody, have you watched Jack Ryan? I'm like, I don't think, no, it's good. You should check it out.
Yeah, it's good. So Jack Ryan Season 2 on Amazon Prime, binge.
Awesome. All right, my turn.
Your turn.
I am doing a review of a show that's in its 2nd season, and I thoroughly adored, gushed about the 1st season of it, and this is The End of the Effing World. It's a Netflix original series by way of Britain. If you've listened to this before, you know how much not only did I love the show itself, but I love the lead actress, Jessica Barden. And this is why it pains me so much to tell you what a disappointment season 2 is.
Oh, no.
Now, it's the same amount of episodes, 8 episodes, about 20 minutes each. You can do it in 4 hours. It's not a big commitment, but it is a dour, mopey, going nowhere disappointment.
Wow.
And the
that's
chief
strong.
disappointment in this, and this is why I'm so upset, is Jessica Barden. She is terrible in this. And it's not her performance, it's the material that the writers have given her. They have turned her into a depressed, moody bitch the whole way through. There's nothing likable about her anymore. And she was so likable in the first season.
That's a big leap. What happened?
Well, they're playing off the fact that in the first season, like, I don't want to get into the plot if you haven't watched the first season, but something traumatic happens, and that trauma is now affecting her throughout all of season 2. But this thing that happened in the first season happened early on and didn't really affect her very much for the rest of the first season. So it's kind of like, okay, we don't know what to do with her. We're going to give her this trauma that's affecting her and just putting this kibosh on any sense of fun. Mm-hmm. And now it's still got the 2 leads in it. James, played by Alex Lothar. Alex Lothar, still good in this. He's the bright spot of the show, if there is any. And then they've added a third lead character named Bonnie, who's out to get him. Mm-hmm. And she's sort of like a mentally disturbed sociopath. And that is played by Naomi Ackie. And Naomi Ackie, as I look up, is going to be in the next Star Wars movie, The Rise of Skywalker.
Now, what I mean when I say what happened between the 2 seasons, there was 2 years. Are there new writers? Is it new
Same
source
writers.
material?
They've just, moved it up, I'd say maybe a year later, maybe 2 years. I'm not exactly sure. It's a little while. And the characters have been separated, and this gets them back together. But the first one was, Bonnie and Clyde. It was like they took you on an adventure. It was like a road trip. It was fun. This is just spinning its wheels and going nowhere. And you know where it's got to go because of how they set things up in the first episode. But it's just... You just want to yell at these two, and you're like, just say what we all know you're thinking. Like, just quit, I'm not going to tell them this because I don't. Just get to the point, you two. But if they got to the point, there'd be no show. It's just drawn out, and it's a couple funny moments, but it's just pales in comparison to the first season.
How do you think that happens that a show changes so much? Because I pulled up a random episode from season 1 and season 2. The primary writer's Charlie Covell in both, but Charles Forsman, this is based on a comic book. You forgot to say that.
Thank you for letting me know.
You didn't know that?
I did not. Well, if I did, I forgot.
I just assume anything that you review on the show is based on a comic book.
I can't argue with that.
But there's 4 additional writers on this particular episode. So I have a feeling that the core of this show wrote the first season, and then they said, we need a writer's room. And they got all these weird ideas in there, and it turned away from what it began.
But there's less ideas in season 2 than season 1. Season 2 is very simple. It's not a huge plot. It's like, they got to get back together, and they're miserable, and they won't really communicate with each other. In the meantime, they don't know about it, but they're dealing with this hitchhiker who's there to kill them.
Okay.
That's it. That's the whole season. But my biggest complaint is Jessica Barden's character, Alyssa. She easily gave one of my favorite performances in season 1, and to see what they did with her for season 2 is just, just breaks your heart. They just turned her into a completely unlikable character.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, and I don't want to come down on her performance as an actress, but the show should be called What? What? It's British. I'm saying what in British. I know, but
Okay.
But it's like every word out of her is like what?
Okay.
What? and watch it. That's what it is. And she said it a lot in the first season, but she really they're just like, we don't know what to do with her here. Have her say what?
That sounds lazy.
Yeah, it felt lazy. It just felt like a bunch of missed opportunities here. But again, Alex Lothar does a good job with his character, even though they're not really giving him much to work with. But I'm sorry to say it's a binge. Season 2 of End of the Effing World.
Nope.
No?
Sorry to say it's a purge.
Oh my God, you're okay. What? I'm sorry. It is a purge. I stand corrected. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
End of the effing world, season 2, Purge. Still binge season 1 because it's so enjoyable, and then leave it at that.
Okay.
Don't go looking for something else in season 2. It won't be there, and you'll be left going, huh? Why did they do that?
Okay. Well, there you have it. Dimo, do you wear glasses?
You know I do.
Yeah.
For those listening at home and can't see it, we both wear glasses.
Yeah. I'm sitting across from you right now.
Yeah,
so
I can
know.
see you wearing glasses.
Yeah.
And I can see you wearing glasses because I'm wearing mine.
Now, did you buy...
Sorry.
Did you buy your glasses online?
I did not.
Okay. How much were they? Do you remember?
My frames?
The whole thing. The whole package.
About $1,000.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. But
Wow.
well, look, I'm in the market. This is where I blew it. Okay, I have to get new glasses. I've already bought the frames because I'm very particular, and it took me 6 months to find my frames.
Okay.
So I got them, and now I have to get the lenses, and the lenses are going to be progressives. I know this is fascinating, and they're going to cost me between $600 and $700.
If you would have bought them at iways.com, you could have gotten a complete pair of progressives for like $169.
Oh, I see the error of my ways.
iWays is a practical alternative to pricey fashion brands or cheap foreign online glasses that aren't even accurate. I don't know if you know this. You get like a $7 pair of glasses from some of these companies that advertise on TV. They show up, they're not even the right prescription.
Well, it sounds like you get what you pay for.
Exactly. So at iWays, you get a good pair of glasses that are stylish for $59 complete and up. You know, for you, it would have been a little more, but they're not $1,000, and they're nice looking glasses. They also have glasses specifically for staring at a screen all day. They're called Screen Ease.
I have some of those, but they're just plastic that I bought on Amazon, and I just throw them over my regular glasses. So they're a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Are you saying they have lenses that incorporate this?
They
or
have
they have
that too.
separate?
Both.
Okay.
Now the Screen Ease, you put it on, there's just a tiny bit of like magnification as well. So it really relaxes your head when you're sitting in front of a computer.
Oh, nice.
Check out iways.com, use promo code Binge or Purge, and get $5 off your purchase. That means you could get a pair of glasses for $54, and they're not cheap crap from, wherever. They're nice. They're dispensed by an actual optician too.
I should hope so.
Yeah. Well, hey, a lot of stuff you get online, they're not coming from a doctor's office.
I know.
So they're good, and they've been good to us. So thank you, iways.com.
Yes, iways.com.
All right. What next?
It's you.
It's me again?
Yes.
Okay. I watched a comedy special that made me laugh 2/3 of the way, and then the last third, it totally fell off a cliff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a trend lately. Did it get serious all of a sudden, or did it just not become funny anymore?
Well, you can probably guess. So this is
Okay.
David Cross's new stand-up special on Amazon called Oh, Come On. Now, David Cross famously played Tobias in Arrested Development.
Yep.
Mr. Show, which I can't stand.
You can't stand Mr. Show? Mm-mm. What?
I don't smoke a ton of pot, or any pot. I just don't get it. It's like a Seth Rogen movie to me.
There have been some real gems of sketches on Mr. Show.
Maybe I just didn't see those. I've watched a couple episodes is all. And you know what I say about Bob Odenkirk.
Don't you dare besmirch the Odenkirk name on this podcast.
Not his writing, but anyway.
Move on.
Moving on. David Cross, very funny, very specific, alternative. Like, this guy belongs in Austin. He needs a residency in Austin. He just fits in perfectly there with his flannels and his crazy beard. Really funny guy, funny actor. A lot of storytelling, which I typically don't love in stand-ups. I like a lot of jokes, but he has a lot of jokes per minute for kind of a storyteller. This starts off great. He does some material about being a new father.
With Amber Tamblyn, his wife.
Yeah, his wife, who's I think 20 years younger than him.
Yeah.
Roughly.
It's a bit of a May-December.
Yeah. But he talks about how she's a feminist, and she's out a lot of times doing speaking engagements, smashing the patriarchy, while he's at home, trying to raise their baby by himself. Because the irony is not lost on me. So it's kind of funny. He's a great comic. Now, the last, 20 minutes, this is about an hour long. The last 20 minutes, it just turns into Trump bash fest, which I feel like in 2019 has been done. he's very vindictive about it, very extreme about it. Not a lot of jokes. And he even acknowledges it after the quote unquote bit. He goes, "Look, I know that bit is not clever or even particularly funny, but it makes me feel good."
Well, at least he acknowledges it.
Yeah. So
Now, this is what was this on?
Amazon Prime.
Okay. Now, it's funny that you should mention this, the Trump stuff, because Netflix has the Seth Meyers special that allows you to skip the Trump jokes.
Oh, really? The Lobby Baby special.
Lobby Baby, you have
How
some...
do you skip it?
I'm going to look into it. I'm not going to skip it because I love Trump bashing. But you do have that option on Netflix. For some reason, you can skip the Trump bit. I don't know how it works. I'll let you know next week after I watch it. But it sounds like something you are the audience for that. If
Well,
if you're
hold
on
on.
Amazon
I'm
and you
not
want to get
taking
rid
sides.
of it.
I'm just saying, like, it's so overdone. And it's like, wouldn't you just like to go to the bathroom on this guy or whatever? And it's like, okay.
Well, I'm all for Trump bashing, but the thing is, let's face it, we're out doing stand-up and seeing stand-up. There's not a lot of Trump jokes in the clubs
anymore.
Because
it's
audiences don't want to hear it. Only because they're inundated with Trump nonstop. So when they go to a comedy club, they kind of want something different. I'm just finding that the trend is, unless you're like a specific political comedian, most comics are avoiding it because it's overdone.
It's also like when you go to an open mic or something and somebody comes up and they're like, "I've got this killer material about online dating. I just can't wait to do it." And it's like, "Hey man, everyone who's been on this stage in the last hour and a half has done that bit."
Right. It's like, oh, but no, you don't get it. I've combined Tinder with Trump. And I've got the ultimate Tinder Trump mashup joke. And it's like, I don't care.
Have you ever seen my open mic bingo card?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Trump is the free square in the middle.
Say the free square is Trump in the middle, and then like the rest are just Tinder.
That's how it is. And I don't really want to hear a comic on his Netflix or Amazon special do 20 minutes of how much he hates Trump. We get it.
I get it. Now, I'm going to watch the Seth Meyers one. I won't be skipping around. I'll watch the whole thing because I like to see everything in its entirety. But Netflix clearly sees that their audience is like, we're tired of Trump jokes.
Yeah.
Now, I think you can hate Trump and still be tired of Trump jokes.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get at.
You don't have to like just because, oh, I hate Trump jokes, doesn't mean you love Trump.
Right.
An example, I despise Trump, yet I'm kind of like, oh, God, here we go with more Trump jokes.
Yeah. And my point about the David Cross third act is that they're not even good jokes. They're barely even jokes at all. It's just kind of a rant. And it's like, okay.
What's your verdict?
It's really funny. I'd say binge. If you don't want to hear all the political stuff, cut it off about 40 minutes in.
Okay.
But
cool.
He's funny. I really like him a lot.
Right on. And that is on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
And it is titled David Cross, Oh, Come On.
Oh, Come On is the name of it, yeah.
Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, well, he tells a story. Now, actually, if you do skip the end, you should watch the encore because he tells a story at the end that kind of makes that name make sense.
Okay.
That's totally unrelated to the other stuff. So.
But it's pronounced, oh, come on. Or is it like, oh, come on.
How else would it be pronounced?
I don't know. I can't read English. What do you want from me? All right. Didn't you know I'm illiterate? That's why I review shows and not books.
The way he says it is like, oh, come on. Was that a good David Cross impression?
Perfect. Thank you. Now, and I think our audience now knows exactly how it's supposed to be because I couldn't nail it.
Yeah. That was like Bob Newhart doing David Cross.
One last review, and it's up to me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take it home with The King, Netflix original movie. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it stars Timothée Chalamet, Joel Edgerton, Robert Pattinson, Sean Harris, and Ben Mendelsohn.
Big cast.
Big cast, good cast. The two standouts, without question, are Joel Edgerton and Sean Harris. Yeah, this is about the early life of King Henry V of England. And it is based on, it's a mashup of some Shakespearean plays.
The Boy King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact, I think it's like he uses a couple parts of Henry IV and parts of Henry V to make this movie. It's produced by Brad Pitt and his company Plan B, and co-produced and written by Joel Edgerton.
Who's in it?
and is great in it. He wrote himself a juicy little part, I gotta say. And I gotta give this guy credit, man. He cranks out some good stuff. Whether it's his performances or the stuff he gets behind, he's a good producer and writer. I don't think he's getting credit for that. I don't think he gets credit for being much of anything. I think he's an underrated actor.
What else has he done?
Well, he played young Owen Lars in the Star Wars prequels. And he was also in the Thing reboot. And I'm going to have Jess go at it because he's got a litany of stuff.
Joel Edgerton was in Zero Dark 30. Also, The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio and Boy Erased, which he co-wrote, produced, and directed.
He's a solid performer, and I think he deserves more credit. Him and Sean Harris. Now, Sean Harris, if you don't know, he played the main bad guy in the last 2 Mission Impossible movies.
Okay.
If you saw him, you'd recognize him.
He's the Irish-looking guy.
Yeah. He's great in this. 2 performances from the supporting cast make up for everything else. And while Timothée Chalamet is good in this, I feel like I don't get enough. It's not as fully developed a character as the 2 supporting guys. They really make the movie, and there's the reason to watch this. Now, it's a period piece, obviously taking place in 15th century England. If you're not into period pieces, bail on this. Sometimes period pieces can be all, so wordy and overdone. This was easy to follow. Even at 2 hours and 20 minutes, I thought it moved right along. Robert Pattinson has like a brief part as a pompous prince, and he's kind of fun.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a good little part for him. It's not a big thing, but he does a really good job with it. This was a very watchable, entertaining movie, and I'm not a huge period. Oh, England in the 15th century. Now, I went in not looking forward to this. I thought it was going to be a real bore, and it wasn't. It was interesting. It moved along. 2 really great supporting performances. Ben Mendelsohn is at the beginning of it. He's very good as always.
Awesome.
He's great. Not a big part, but a key part. Definitely worth the watch, man. Now, I know they're going for Oscars here. They're not going to get any Oscars.
Did they put this out in theaters?
It was briefly released in theaters.
Okay. That's the new thing now. They put stuff out. They call it, they 4-wall it.
Yeah.
Like The Irishman right now is in like 2 theaters in the country just so they can be eligible for an Oscar.
Exactly. But everyone's going to watch it on Netflix. That's going to be its thing. But if you're into this type of thing, Binge. The King on Netflix, an original movie. I enjoyed it.
Okay, so let's recap real quick. I talked very briefly about Ghosts of Sugarland, a Netflix documentary, 20 minutes long. Not much there. Interesting story to read in about 2.5 minutes on your iPhone while you're, waiting in line for something.
Purge.
Yeah, Purge. Jack Ryan season 2 is a binge.
As is season 1
Oh,
overall.
definitely.
1 and 2.
Yeah, season 1 I think was a little bit better. Season 2, very 2-dimensional, plot-driven, not character-driven. Definitely worth watching. Binge, for sure. Dimo said End of the Effing World season 2 was...
a huge disappointment.
Yeah, merely a shadow of season 1.
Yep.
So you said Binge season 1, Purge season 2. Then I reviewed David Cross's new comedy special. Oh, come on. Now that's actually pretty close to how he said it.
Perfect.
Binge it. You might not like the end. Feel free to turn it off. And then Dimo reviewed The King, Netflix original movie. Timothée Chalamet, Ben Mendelsohn, Joel Edgerton. You said
Sean
Binge.
Harris.
Sean Harris. You said Binge.
Yep.
If you like...
If you like medieval stuff,
Yeah.
it's a good movie. Don't expect, the greatest, but yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored.
He wasn't bored, folks. Imagine what that must be like. Anything you're looking forward to?
We need to get into a bunch of HBO shows because HBO, in the absence of Game of Thrones, is now throwing out an onslaught of stuff to watch.
Yes.
And I discussed last week how I'd started watching Watchmen, and I'm really getting into it. But I do think HBO is just going to throw everything they got to make up for the big hole they don't have with Game of Thrones anymore, which, hey, not everything is going to work, but I applaud them for, pushing out a lot of content and trying to fill that hole as best they can. So maybe, something will be in there.
Maybe. There's a lot of stuff. There's something coming that I'm looking forward to called Crisis Cops. It's not out yet.
There's that show with Jason Bateman coming. I forget the name of it.
It's called The Outsider and is based on the books by Stephen King. It will premiere in January 2020.
Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of stuff. And Room 104, which we've never actually reviewed, we'll talk about at some point. So we have to have a full episode dedicated to the HBO Cavalcade.
Bohemoth. Cavalcade's good.
Behemoth. To the HBO Behemoth. That's all I've got.
Great. That's all I've got. Now, where can they find us, Joe?
Oh, man, where can't they find us? Facebook /Binge or Purge. Twitter @Binge or Purge. Instagram @Binge or Purge Podcast. Email us, bingeorpurgepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you.
Don't forget YouTube.
Oh, and YouTube. Well, you can watch us on YouTube, leave comments.
Right.
Spotify, iTunes, Listen Note. Lots of places where you can tell me how much you hated my response to Dolomite.
Yes,
That's
please
fine.
let Joe know how wrong he was about Dolomite is my name.
That's fine.
I'm hearing about it on the street of how wrong you are.
On the street.
Yeah, on the street, people come up to me, hey, tell Joe, totally wrong about Dolomite is my name. Get
Okay.
rid of him. I'm like, no, I can't get rid of him. He owns the mics.
Well, they're on loan. The credit card company owns. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so that's it then.
That's it. As always, we want to thank Jess the Facts. You can follow Jess the Facts on Twitter and Instagram at @TheJessicaGreer.
Thanks, Jess.
And that's all our time for this week. For Joe Taylor, my name is Dimo. Thanks for listening. See you next time.